it said that no Jews, no Chinese were allowed to. No one of African or Asiatic descent or ancestry was allowed to reside on the premises unless they were a servant. Because these words are hate words.
观天下知生活，观众朋友们，大家好，我是老文。生活在海外的华人，可能或多或少都经历过种族歧视的言行。近期，一位在大温哥华地区西温哥华市的华裔业主，在向西温哥华市政府申请房屋装修许可的时候，发现他的产权证书上竟然还保留着种族歧视性条款，而西温哥华市政府在2年半以前就承诺要彻底去除这些种族歧视性条款。对此，他非常气愤，并且发起了一场签名请愿运动。此事在各大主流媒体以及华人媒体在持续发酵。作为首家采访并报道此事的官知媒体，我们今天请到了事件当事人董家宝女士到我们工作室进行视频访谈。欢迎董女士。Welcome to Vancouver Observers or 官知 media platform for the interview.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so recently we heard about the discriminative covenant from land title certificate in some part of the area in West Vancouver City.
Yes.
So how did you find out this discriminative covenant?
So the first time I learned about these covenants was when I purchased a house in 2008.
Okay.
So the realtor told me, that there's going to be some offensive language, just be aware. And so when I read the document, it said that no Jews, no Chinese were allowed to purchase.
No Jews?
No Jews,
okay.
Yes. And so he asked, do you want to remove this language? And I said, yes, we would like to remove this language. So we thought that's what my husband and I thought happened. And then what happened was last month, we're doing some improvements on our property.
Okay.
And so we had a subcontractor apply on our behalf to the district.
Okay.
And so he contacted me and said, look, your application has been flagged. You have a restrictive covenant on your property, and they're asking for it. So I gave him the land title, and I went back to city, and this isn't enough.
Okay.
They're actually asking you, as a landowner, to go to the LTSA, the Land Title Office in Westminster, to pick up this document. So I got the document, and in this document, the covenant said, no pigs, no chickens, no farm animals. And the next line down, it said, no one of African or Asiatic descent or ancestry was allowed to reside on the premises unless they were a servant.
Yeah.
And of course, upon seeing this, I was very surprised because, for me and many of my neighbors and friends, we had assumed, because there was so much media coverage 2.5 years ago, that the West Vancouver Council was removing this language. They were in the process of removing this language. So here was a situation where I was asked to submit this document. Otherwise, if I didn't, my permit would be delayed. Okay. And it was the district asking me for this document that they said they were going to get the language removed from.
Okay.
So I was left very angry as well because my children are mixed. I'm ethnically Chinese. My husband is European. And so I've always taught them to be very proud of who they are, to appreciate the culture that they're from, because I think that when we talk about the issues of mental wellness and mental health that is always being discussed about in our society right now, that respect and love of yourself is a very important thing to appreciate about yourself. So now here I was having a situation where a person, a company, the British Pacific Properties, and the government telling me that my children, that I should be ashamed of being Asian, ashamed of being Chinese.
Okay, so this is how this issue was brought up to your attention.
Yes.
Okay, and as far as I know, this racist covenant was made voided
Yes.
Since 1978
Yes.
through the BC Land Title Act
Right.
amendment.
Yes.
So since it has been already unenforceable, so why you still so upset with this covenant?
Because these words are hate words.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Why are they there? There's no purpose to have this language there.
Okay.
You know, we live in a society, a time period where we're saying we're, you know, in a period of reconciliation, we're in a period of inclusivity and embracing diversity. And if we cannot remove words on a legal document, which is the very first step of all of this, how can we be sincere in saying that we are actually trying to accomplish all of these things?
Okay, so actually, I did some study on this similar racist covenant on land title certificate. Actually, it's not only in West Vancouver.
No.
It's in many areas in BC and also in many areas in Canada as well as in US.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you report this issue to any media?
So actually the media did pick it up because I was raising awareness about it. So I've had several local media pick it up from different language groups. So for example, I've had Fairchild, I've had Red FM, you know, the local news.
Any major medias pick up?
So CTV, CBC.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the media coverage is very good.
Yes, it's been very supportive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the general reaction from the media?
General reaction is I think that they're very supportive. Yeah, so it's good that they are reporting about this because I think, how can we still be talking about this so many years later?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your subcontractor encountered some application issue with the city of West Vancouver.
Yes.
So did the staff in West Vancouver City specifically ask about this covenant which contains discriminative clause in that covenant?
Yeah, so they had specifically said that there is a restrictive covenant on your property listed on the land title and you must retrieve it. Okay,
but my question is, did that staff know this covenant contains that discriminative clause or racist clause?
You know what? I actually don't know because it was very interesting. I actually had already applied for about 10 permits before that. Which required much more greater improvements to the property. Nobody had asked me. If anybody knows the history of Canada, looking at the year 1956, they should have been able to conclude from knowledge and probability that a covenant of 1956 was a racist one, a discriminatory covenant.
So after the media pick up this news, has anyone in the city of West Vancouver ever contacted you about this issue?
So I raised the awareness of the petition through a neighborhood social media app, because I was trying to ask my neighbors, you know, do you still have this? Because I didn't know I had this. Do you know this? And I had a counselor, Counselor Craig Cameron, who suggested that what I was doing was, my experience, he said, was the suggestion that I was lying and that I was trying to do a smear campaign against him and the mayor and the rest of the councillors.
On what basis he was accusing you of lying?
I have no idea. I'm just
lying on what?
Lying about the experience. He says that I'm just trying to raise awareness. I'm telling you this is what happened. I am surprised. Right? Because 2.5 years ago you made this whole media coverage. And now you're saying I'm doing a smear campaign?
I don't know where this lying coming from.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting, yes.
Because you know, in 2020, under the motion made by city councillor Marcus Wong, that the whole city government made a decision to try to remove this racist covenant
Right.
from the land title certificate.
Right.
They made that promise.
So
But what happened after the promise?
So they made a motion to begin the process of looking at how to remove this discriminatory language, and they haven't done anything. So you have a situation where a counselor who is the only non-white counselor there is representing the Chinese population and anyone of color there. And he is trying to speak up on our behalf to fight discrimination. And so now you have a situation that a counselor who has not followed up, right, with...
So Marcus did not follow up.
He did not follow up, okay? And so now you have a situation where the other counselors are going, look, he didn't follow up, you know?
Why do we care?
Yeah,
like...
It must not be very important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the attitude that's been taken now. And so the action of trying to do more good has now done more harm.
Okay. So Marcus should have done a champion job, right?
Yeah.
To lead the whole effort.
Absolutely, that was the expectation. There's no follow-up. So there's this report that's being done this evening, where the district is reporting to council on what they've done. And the report says, basically, over the last 2.5 years, they have done nothing. And that they will not do anything, because it's out of their jurisdiction. Okay? The report says nothing about what they can do from a municipal level. There are many things that can be done at a municipal level, right? Community engagement is one. The second one is operational procedures on flagging land titles with this offensive restrictive covenant, right? Because they must see so many hundreds of thousands of permits in the department every year, right? And the third one is, in that report, they quote a price of $1 million. $1 million to ask a third party, the land title office, to identify the properties that have this offensive, hateful language on it. Why do they not go to the source? So when you look at the history of West Vancouver, the land is owned by two major owners, the Squamish Nation and the British Pacific Properties. Now the British Pacific Properties have developed a lot of West Vancouver, obviously, and they continue to develop. They are a company that still exists. So why are they not held responsible for the social toxic waste that they've done? So you have a situation where the British Pacific Properties is seeking more, like thousands of permits right now, right?
Right, that have the power to influence or even force British Pacific Property Company to do something. Right? Because this company was the originator to put this cost into the land title. So the right entity to come to the land title office to get rid of this.
In fact, the only way, so right now the law, the legislative law, only allows the strikeout of racist language. So that means you take a ball pen, you strike it out, a very thin line, so you can actually see what's written underneath. This is the only opportunity right now to remove the language in its entirety if you work with the original landowner and the current owners to actually rewrite the restricted code and remove that language.
That's a very important point, because British Pacific Property is the right company or right entity to actually remove this racist clause from the Land Title Act instead of just crossing out.
Yes, it's a very unique situation in our city. Of course, this doesn't happen everywhere, but in this particular case, that report that reports $1 million, like honestly, that can be that bill, that it shouldn't be the responsibility of taxpayers. It should be the responsibility of British Pacific Properties.
So hopefully the city of West Vancouver will pick up this interview and they will learn that they can do something. Right? They can do something. And they don't have to spend like $1 million amount of money or lots of staff resources to do the job.
No, they shouldn't be. This should not, in this particular case, should not be taxpayer money.
That makes lots of sense. Thank you for bringing this up. I heard that you have launched a petition campaign recently. And what's the purpose of launching this campaign?
So the original purpose was, I got so tired of reaching out to my neighbors and,
Okay.
and asking them, do you have this land covenant, this restrictive covenant on your land title?
Okay.
That's how I created the petition. But what I'm finding is that with all the number of signatures that I'm getting, it raises more awareness. The media is picking it up.
Yeah.
I've actually had an MLA in my riding who has
Okay.
since contacted me to submit these signatures to the BC Legislature Assembly.
Okay.
So the more signatures we get,
Yeah.
the more support it gets.
How many you got so far?
I think it's around 4,450 so far.
Wow, lots of people already. But we definitely need more, right?
The more the better.
Yeah, and also if the other minority like Indian, like Filipinos.
Mm-hmm. What would be better if we can get the various associations, like the African American Association, the Chinese Association, all these different associations. If we can come together as a community that has been discriminated and say this is not right?
Yeah.
This is not just a West Vancouver thing. This is a national issue. If we come together as a community, we have a stronger voice.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So the petition hyperlink will be under the video. So for those who support this initiative, please go on sign off on the petition, so that we can get more voice raised up to the provincial government. Thank you very much for coming here and talking to us. Very interesting topic and lots of good suggestions from you. Hopefully, the media, both the media and the city of West Vancouver will learn something from your suggestions and the proposals.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this and bringing awareness. I think it's very important, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
董女士发起的签名请愿运动已经获得近5000人的签字，希望 BC 省政府能够重视此事，就全省范围内的产权证书里包含的歧视性条款议题进行讨论，并作出正视历史、纠正历史错误的决定。同时，西门华市政府也应该利用它的影响力，迫使当年把这些歧视性条款加入产权证书的不列颠太平洋公司主动去产权证书办公室，也就是 Land Title Office 去删除这些歧视性的条款。正如董家宝女士所说，不能一方面卖房赚中国人的钱，另外一方面又继续保留这些辱华排华的歧视性条款，不做道歉，不采取实际行动改正错误，口惠而实不至。那么这个问题其实不仅仅局限于新温哥华市，其实在 BC 省的很多地方，以及加拿大的很多地方，甚至美国的很多地方，都存在类似的种族歧视性条款。那希望大家呢更多的关注这个事情，同时引起其他族裔的共同关注，大家团结一致来去除这些种族歧视性条款。希望观众朋友们留言评论并订阅我们的频道。再次感谢董家宝女士接受我们的访谈，谢谢各位观众观看，本期访谈到此结束。